Hello everyone. We, the team of IPASF VIPW, in collaboration with official IPASF, are here to present a video which gives an awareness on juvenile arthritis. July is the month of juvenile arthritis, and we want to give a brief information about the juvenile arthritis. Juvenile arthritis, which is also known as pediatric rheumatic disease, is not a specific disease. It's a combined term which is used to describe the inflammatory and rheumatic diseases which develop in children under the age of 16 years. Most of the kinds of juvenile arthritis are autoimmune or autoinflammatory diseases, which means that the immune system, which is supposed to fight against the foreign invaders like microorganisms, gets confused and releases the inflammatory chemicals that attack the healthy cells and tissues in the body. In most of the juvenile arthritis cases, this causes the joint inflammation, swelling, pain, and tenderness. But some types of juvenile arthritis have few or no joint symptoms or only affect the skin and internal organs, which makes it difficult to diagnose the juvenile arthritis from other diseases. What could be the causes of juvenile arthritis? Well, the exact cause for the juvenile arthritis are unknown, but the scientists and researchers believe that certain genes may cause juvenile arthritis when activated by microorganisms or other external factors. There is no evidence that the foods, toxins, allergies, malnutrition, and other environmental factors cause the disease. Let us know about some common types of juvenile arthritis. There are 6 types of juvenile arthritis, in which juvenile idiopathic arthritis is the most common form of the juvenile arthritis, and it includes 6 types of arthritis, which are oligoarthritis, polyarthritis, idiopathic arthritis, psoriatic arthritis, enthesitis-related arthritis, and systemic arthritis. The next type of arthritis is juvenile myositis. It's an inflammatory disease which causes the muscle weakness. This is again of 2 types, which is known as juvenile polymyositis and juvenile dermatomyositis, which also causes rash on eyelids and knuckles. The third one is the juvenile lupus, which is an autoimmune disease that affects the joints, skin, internal organs like heart, kidneys, and lungs, and other areas of the body. This is a common form which is called as systemic lupus erythematosus or SLE. The next type is juvenile scleroderma, which literally means hard skin. It describes a group of conditions that causes the skin to tighten and harden. Vasculitis is a type of disease that causes inflammation of the blood vessels, which leads to heart complication. The most common kinds in kids and teens is Kawasaki disease and Henoch-Schönlein purpura. Fibromyalgia is a chronic pain syndrome which causes widespread muscle pain and stiffness, along with fatigue, disturbed sleep, and other symptoms. It is more common in girls, but rarely diagnosed before puberty. While coming to some of the symptoms and health effects of the juvenile arthritis, the juvenile arthritis influences on joints, skin, eyes, and internal organs. The juvenile arthritis may cause joints to look red or swollen and feel stiff, painful, tender, and warm, which leads to difficulty moving or completing the everyday tasks. When coming to the skin symptoms, it may include a scaly red rash in case of psoriatic arthritis, light spotted pink rash in case of systemic arthritis, butterfly-shaped rash across the bridge of nose and cheeks in case of lupus, and thick hardened patches of the skin in case of scleroderma. When coming to eye symptoms, it may cause dryness, pain, redness, sensitivity to light, and trouble seeing properly, which is caused by uveitis. When coming to internal organ symptoms, it can affect internal organs such as digestive tract, which can cause diarrhea and bloating. It also affects the lungs, which leads to shortness of breath. And other symptoms include feeling tired or fatigue, appetite loss, and high spiking fever. When coming to the diagnosis of juvenile arthritis, it is difficult because the symptoms may match with other disease symptoms, but a pediatrician may determine what is causing the symptoms and refer to a rheumatologist. The doctors will ask the questions about the child's medical history, physical examinations, what are the symptoms included in the past few days, and when the symptoms have been started, the past and family history. He may also recommend laboratory tests to find out the inflammatory markers and the imaging tests like X-ray, CT scan, and MRI to look for the signs of joint damage, and it also can help rule out other causes like trauma and infection. It's very sad that there is no cure for juvenile arthritis, but with early diagnosis and aggressive treatment, remission can be possible. So the main goals of the treatment are slowing down or stopping inflammation and preventing the disease progression, relieving the symptoms, controlling the pain, and improving the quality of life of the patient by diagnosing prior, prevent or avoid the joint and organ damage with the treatment, preserve the joint function and mobility for the adulthood, and reducing the long-term health effects and complications associated with juvenile arthritis. A well-rounded plan includes the medication, physical activity, complementary therapies like acupuncture, massage, mind and body therapies, and healthy eating habits. There are many medications which are used to treat the juvenile arthritis, while some control the disease activity and other drugs may relieve the symptoms. The drugs that control the disease activity are corticosteroids and disease-modifying anti-rheumatic drugs, which is abbreviated as DMARDs. The drugs that reduce or relieve the symptoms are non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, non-drug therapies, and physical therapies, assisted devices, acupuncture, etc. In case of severity, we can also go for surgery. It's very important that the children and teens must make healthy lifestyle choices and use the complementary therapies to manage their pain and stress related to arthritis. So these include eating healthy foods, like including all the foods that are healthy, which may curb the inflammation, opting for hot and cold treatments such as heat pads or warm baths, which is best for soothing stiff joints and tired muscles. Cold therapy is best for acute pain, and it also can reduce inflammation. While coming to topical creams, these gels, creams, or stick-on patches can ease the pain in a joint or muscles. Mind and body therapies include meditation, deep breathing, distraction techniques like listening to music or reading, and practicing the visualization, which can help relax and divert the attention away from the pain for a short time. The massage and acupuncture may reduce the pain and ease stress or activity. Acupuncture involves inserting the fine needles into the body along with special points to relieve the pain. The use of supplements is rarely studied in the children, but some supplements that help adults may also help the children too. But before using any supplement, kindly consult your doctor because it may cause side effects and medication interactions. Kids and teens with chronic diseases are more likely to get depressed. The therapists and psychologists can help kids deal with tough emotions and teach positive coping strategies. A strong emotional and social support is needed during these tough times. I kindly thank everyone for listening to this video. We don't know how strong we really are until being strong is the only choice for us. So support juvenile arthritis awareness.